So thank you guys for coming and joining us on this week's Malice Cast. We weren't prepared. We weren't ready. We don't have any topics. So join us in the chat room and yell off topics that you would like to talk about. Heck, give us headline. Give us just a phrase that you want us to Google and look up and see what the first news topic that comes up on that. And we're going to have some fun chit-chatting to find out what's going on in the nerd news, geek news, and whatnot. It's going to be a interesting endeavor. So with that, sit back.
Our long ad-libbed podcast.
We're going ad-libbed. Sit back,
screwed,
show, and join us. Have some fun. Hello to all the geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados. Mess 5150 with Malice Cast, episode 26 of season 2. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for not letting us miss a show. So, as always, you have me, your host, Mess 5150, on the show to shout at you and talk and try and figure things out. Also joining me on cast, we have Masonic Vader. How goes it, sir?
It goes well, sir, as the smoke surrounds San Diego.
Yeah, it's a hot day today.
Yes,
in some places. I'm not in San Diego. I'm more inland, and we were hitting like 115 degrees out here. So
I just had to show off my cool Thundar shirt. By the way, I got to rock the Thundar.
Nice,
yes, sir.
And also on our cast, we have waking up little sleepy bear eyes to get these two up. We have a Super Hoovian Freak on the show.
Hello.
Senor.
You wait.
Yeah, the energy pours from the microphone.
I didn't even hear full words. All I heard was nor.
It was supposed to say "si, senor."
Si, senor. No.
But yeah, it was really hot. That's part of the reason I was asleep. It was 118. Car almost overheated on the way home. Was not happy, and it was just, taking those couple hills up from, the giant hill, the car tipped over into where I thought I was going to overheat, and I was just like, that's all we need at the end of the week. But luckily I got home, and hopefully I won't have to go anywhere this weekend. So
nice. I have to go to work this weekend. My wife walked up before we started the cast, and she's like, "Do you want to open the window to make it a little cooler here?" I was like, "No, it's hotter outside than it is in here." So
help.
we stuck with. Oh, she's
it's
bringing
supposed
a
to
fan.
be worse.
The fan is
tomorrow.
coming in. Let's hope it doesn't take away my sound.
It's gonna blow perfect on that beard and let it blow. And it's a sexy beard blow.
Definitely, I don't think Ian. I don't think that Icy Zorro and Super were taking a nap together, as Jack points out in the chat room, because they are far away from
many miles apart.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
that would be a neat trick, though, to
but
figure out.
There is a comment of a older brother might come interact things if that was going on. So, but speaking of that, Icy Zorro here on the cast as well. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, great. Melting like everyone else. And it's supposed to be worse tomorrow, and I have to work in a place with doors that are open tomorrow, so it's going to be so much fun.
And welcome Red Meatball to the chat room. She says hot next week here. So
hot and humid out there in the Minnesota.
Don't you know what's hot out there?
Super dry.
Don't you know Minnesota?
Oh yeah. Oh god, way up there in the north.
This is what happens with the cast when you have no subject.
Well, the license plate says landed 10,000 leagues, but it's actually closer to 16,000.
Is it? They haven't all dried up yet in this heat?
I'm sure they got a big stash of Pabst Blue Ribbon up there.
Oh, no. Close enough to Wisconsin. We go Milwaukee's past.
So we like to do with this cast, we always like to start off with what we've been geeking out on. So in the chat room, if there's anything you've been geeking out or nerding out on, please let us know what you have been doing for this past week. I know what I'll be geeking out on over the next week and a half once things start kicking off. But until then, not much for me. I'm just binge watching Netflix like crazy to catch up on some stuff. So, Mr. Masonic Vader, what have you been geeking out on lately?
Oh, well, I was able to binge watch Luke Cage season 2. Phenomenal. We'll get. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it, but no spoilers. Who knows? I've also started getting into Glow season 2 as well, because dude, I like wrestling, and that show is hilarious, anyways. Because I remember when it was actually real.
Wait, you like wrestling?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and in fact,
don't you host a show?
There's some show I heard about. It's really awesome. It's called Malice Smack Talk. It's phenomenal, dude. You guys need to check it out. There's also a new little game on the phone that I picked up on. It's called the Muscle Hustle, which is actually a wrestling phone game too. And it's like a little, I don't know, flip the coins, hit them all out things, upgrade your wrestlers. So, that's been my geeking out stuff this week.
Nice. Yeah. What we were doing our shameless plug there. We do have Malice Corp Smack Talk. You can find it on iTunes and Stitcher. Over here on Twitch, or even on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/C/Malice Corp. It's our fine friend Masonic Vader, Marty, because he couldn't come up with a better name, and Mind Freak, talking about all things wrestling. They don't just talk about WWE. They talk about Ring of Honor. They talk about New Japan. They talk all types of stuff. So you should definitely check them out if you're into the wrestling, as Beacon likes to say. Mr. Icy Zora, what you been geeking out on?
Well, I feel like everybody's stealing my stuff. I spent 2 days binging the entire seasons of Glow season 2 and Luke Cage season 2, and they were both fantastic. Luke Cage started a little slow, and I could definitely talk about it without spoilers if we want to get into that. But Glow was just, I forgot that was only a half-hour show, and it's so worth it. Like, those ladies are so talented. It's called Gorgeous Ladies Wrestling.
Yeah, I thought it was
Glorious. It's Allison Brie, Mark Maron, and a whole cast of really talented female actresses reenacting like the behind-the-scenes drama of the mid '80s women's wrestling show, Gorgeous Ladies Wrestling,
which actually is still around a little bit. And one of the ladies on there is actually I don't know if she still does it now. Her name in the ring was Awesome Kong with one of the promotions. She's a welfare lady. That's she's actually a professional wrestler. Yeah, Welfare Queen is actually a professional wrestler. Goes by the name of Awesome Kong.
Yeah, and because it's set in the mid '80s, it's just like the most cheesy, like super stereotypical, if offensive. Like Allison Brie is Stoya the Destroyer, the Russian menace. The hero of the show is the blonde Southern lady named was she something
American Belle, I think.
Savannah Bell or something like that.
The Georgia Bell, something like that.
Something like that. But like it's wonderful. It's like if you haven't watched Glow, you should watch Glow. That's a good show.
All right, check it out. Are any of those old? Do you remember the old show American Gladiator, or any of those women that did the show American Gladiator in it? Because that was right around the same time, early 90s.
But funny thing is, some of the women from American Gladiator actually made it to professional wrestling.
There you go. I believe it. There were some seriously in shape women on that show.
And actually Gina Carano, a UFC fighter, was actually from UFC or from American Gladiator as well.
She was on the reboot, the new version.
Yeah, the reboot. Yeah,
it was the very tamed down version of American.
That I thought was terrible acting, and yeah. So, what have you been up to, Super?
So I started a new show. I was going to start Luke Cage season 2, and then my friend sat me down to watch a new series with her while we were baking the other night for the 4th of July. And it's the new series by Amy Sherman Palladino, who wrote Gilmore Girls. It's called The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. So if you guys haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's about a woman from the 1950s, a housewife who decides that she wants to become a stand-up comedian when her husband basically flames out and can't hack it on the comedy stage. It's, if you liked anything about Gilmore Girls with the writing and the comedy and the quick wit and the things like that, it's got that all, but
that means I'm out.
Really a good show. I was surprised.
My wife loves Gilmore Girls, so she'll love it, but I can't. Yeah.
I have my beef with the creator herself, like in real life, some of the decisions that she made, some of the things that she did, when she doesn't get her way, she's kind of known to throw tantrums and shoot, you know, the shows and the foot and whatnot, because I have my issues with the way season 6 went on Gilmore Girls, but she does write a really good show. I mean, I really liked Bunheads when Bunheads was on. I know Bunheads was on ABC Family, so it didn't really get the viewership that it should have, but again, it was a good show, good characters. This is a really good show, good characters, so.
And I like people from Gilmore Girls. I do like the creator. You know, they've done other stuff. It's just if you compare it to Gilmore Girls, and it's if you like Gilmore Girls, you'll like it. It was like that's.
Yeah, and that puts some people out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I like the people from Gilmore Girls. I just didn't like actual Gilmore Girls. But that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
it wasn't,
okay,
it
so my
wasn't
problem
catered
with
to
it,
her side. Sorry.
I can
really
get
was.
through some of it. My problem with it is when Lorelai and the mom and daughter, when they talk to each other, the fast talk is
rapid
like
fire.
Yes, so it's like watching an episode of Blossom, but everybody's 6 on the episode. Her best friend that talks super fast, and I'm just like, my head's gonna explode from all this chatter back and forth. So
no, I fully and it was an art form. I mean, it's fascinating because I thought that they had actually sped the dialogue up, like in post production, and no, they didn't. They literally took classes on how to speak rapid fire like that, speak everything coherently. And they made everyone go through these dialogue training classes because they would do like an hour and a half's worth of dialogue in a 42-minute episode. Yeah. And that's insane to do every single episode.
It is a show that I want to check out, the one that you've been watching. So, and it is on Amazon. It is an Amazon Prime show. And as always, if you have Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Prime, which means that you get a free 30-day subscription every single month for a channel on Twitch. If you want to help us out, you can click that subscribe button up there at the top. That's right up there. Every 30 days, you can give it to us more than once if you want to. It kicks back some stuff to us, helps us get these casts going. And then if you also want, you can head over to the website, www.malice-corp.com. That's our main website. It's our podcast hub. It's where we have articles, all that type of stuff. It's written there at the bottom of the screen. Go there, click on the Amazon link if you're going to be purchasing stuff. We get a kickback. You get your stuff. It's awesome. It all works together. We appreciate you for it. So thank you so much.
And thank you, Red Maple, for just resubscribing with Twitch Prime.
Thank you so much, Red. That is sweet. A very shameless plug because it was shameful on how I tried to plug that plug in terms of talk.
Shame.
Yes. Jack, our producer, has been doing games for him. I don't know which ones, but games is what he says. Lot of soccer injury talk in the chat room as well. Shattered legs, bones bursting.
It's all fake. They fake it every time. Wrestlers are more realistic than the soccer injuries. Come on.
Well, I don't know.
As a former soccer player, yeah, he's right.
I mean, I still remember Triple H's freaking muscle just falling off of his leg, and that's the just gnarliest. Yeah,
I remember Vince McMahon doing it to both of his legs, and he was sitting in the ring trying to command the presence while it happened.
But we're not talking about wrestling.
No,
we might be. We don't know because, like I said at the beginning, we don't have any topics per se to talk about today because there wasn't a lot going on in the nerd news, and we weren't ready to go tonight. So if you guys have a topic that you want us to discuss or talk about or have fun with, please shout it out in the chat room. Heck, give us a phrase, any random 2 words together or something like that. I'll go look it up on Google, hit news, and see what the most recent headline is for that and see where that takes us on our weird, wacky, nerdy adventure. But since we don't have any of that yet, let's talk about what you guys do know, and without spoilers, like you said you could. But Luke Cage, you guys have been talking about it quite a bit in the chat rooms over the last week. I just started watching episode 1 before we started, but yeah,
it is worth watching. It starts a little bit slow. It's not quite as jump into the world as the one as the previous season was. The only real problem that I had with the season, and I've said this in our writers' chat rooms before, is that I hate reggae, to the musical form. And that's my taste. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying I don't enjoy it. And like I said, it's just me. That's not a form of music that I like. In my opinion, it's all the same song over and over and over, and I can't deal with it. And the main problem there is that the main antagonist group in this season is Jamaican. They're from Jamaica, little Jamaica, and I thought it was supposed to be Queens in real life, but apparently it's Brooklyn in this. So there's a lot of reggae. Well, yeah, but the Stylers are based out of Brooklyn. Season.
Yeah, no, the kind of go on with Ian when he say what's going on with Zorro there and everything is that the second season does a really good job of continuing with Luke Cage's character as a whole, trying to set up the next line of shows because they're obviously not done. There's going to be some appearances from people that you've seen in some of the other Marvel episodes right out of the beginning and then also later on. I think they did a great job of the character itself, as I know, a little bit of Luke Cage. I didn't jump into it too much as I was younger, but I got into it a little older, and it's really cool to see where they're going to be taking it. I didn't expect them to jump into that part of Luke Cage that quickly, but it's a great season. If you like the first one, you're going to love the second one. By the end of the show, you will definitely understand people that have Jamaican accents a heck of a lot better than you do right now.
Especially if you turn on the subtitles so you can understand what the hell they're saying most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
There's sometimes subtitles on for Netflix.
They must have did something like they took some time to study it, or they may be true Jamaicans. I don't know, but they sound Jamaican.
Because the subtitles are not actually saying what they're saying. They're saying what the English translation of that patois is. Like they're not doing a phonetic. When he's saying like "migwang," that's like I'm going to. You're like, oh, I get it. Cool.
So.
But yeah, and I agree. The way that they left it up, setting it up for further stuff without any spoilers, I love the situation that they left Luke Cage in. I love what he thinks he's going to be able to do with or about that situation versus how other people think he's going to deal with it. And I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's one of the popular Luke Cage stories in his comic book series, and you'll see it the minute it ends. It's awesome.
Also, and you mentioned there were some characters from the other Marvel shows there. It does a really good job of bringing continuity off of the Defenders, as mediocre as we may have considered that season to be, but really good continuity with Misty, some with Colleen. I really liked the episode that Colleen was in. Even Danny Rand is tolerable in this.
See, you're like throwing stuff out there. I was keeping it open so they could experience it themselves.
I don't see that as spoilers though. It's just like crossover stuff. You expect the crossover stuff there.
If you said specifically what they were doing in it, that's a spoiler. But I mean, we all knew. I mean, if you follow anything on Twitter, we all knew they were going to be involved in it. They, the actors have been tweeting pictures and. I'm really excited just to see a tolerable Danny Rand. But Danny Rand is not the part that I had a problem with. I thought the actor did fine portraying Danny Rand. It was him in the role of the Iron Fist, as we say the duality of the Batman characters. That was where he had the problem. So until you can combine those two essences, the Danny Rand and the Iron Fist, then it's never going to be a good series on its own. So hopefully with the season 2, because I know the season 2 is in the works, but I want Daredevil 3. Where the hell is my Daredevil 3?
He's still buried under Midland Circle.
I know he's still buried.
They just got started.
Give me my Daredevil 3 because Jessica Jones season 2 left me wanting. So give me my Daredevil season 3.
Yeah, they just got started working on season 3 of Daredevil, so it's still coming.
Awesome.
What? He's not dead?
What? You mean he's gonna survive a horrible fall that would literally kill every other human being on the planet?
I heard Ben Affleck do it.
Let's get the consensus from you guys. Okay, I know you said start slow. What episode do you have to stick it out to in season 2 to go, okay, this season's really good. Let's make and actually want to keep watching? How many?
Me personally, I liked it from the beginning. And the only reason why I say that is just because with seeing the other shows, like seeing Punisher and everything like that, it's an expectation now of the Marvel Netflix series that the first episode, maybe second, is trying to bring a bridge, a crossover. They don't want to just come at you and Luke Cage is all of a sudden throwing a right fist right into the screen or something like that. But it's that nice little setup to, hey, this is what was happening before. This is where we're at now. They even have like a little intro that you could skip. That's like a season recap from before. So other than that, though, like I said, see from episode 1, there's so many twists and turns with the characters, and you really start hating bad guys more, and you start liking some of the other bad guys a little bit more. It's they're all there. It's great.
I see. For me, it wasn't about the storyline re-engaging right away. It was the dialogue. For the first 2 episodes, I felt like they didn't have the swing of writing those characters back. There was some truly hacky, like 70s blaxploitation lines in the first couple episodes. And then it kind of got back into like, oh, this is a modern show. We forgot. And then they got back to writing Luke and the rest of his supporting cast like real people in modern times. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm back in. But that's just
interesting. Awesome. Yeah, interesting fact too is Lucy Liu actually directed the first episode.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw directed by Lucy Liu, and I was like, what?
When did she become a director?
Well, you know that I think that the series though, I that's what I liked about the first one. You could see definitely Lucy Liu's touch to it because of some of the fighting and everything was very similar to what you've seen her do in prior shows. So, you guys will enjoy it. Start binging it. You'll love it.
And welcome Sonamaku into the chat room, and Beacon jumped in there as well. So
yeah, what's up, guys?
Welcome in, guys. We got our first 2 words together to try and figure out what's going on with the news on out there, and it was Candy Cane Humperdinck. So, like I said, you can shout out anything that you want to.
Wow. So not Humperdoo, but Humperdinck.
Humperdinck.
Oh, I
came
think
up
Mr.
with what to do in
there we
Lexington this weekend, back in November of 2017. So, anybody been to Lexington?
Not
kind of drove through it. I drove through it.
Not in a really, really long time. Yeah.
You have the Candy Cane concert there and a tree lighting ceremony. This is what happens when you have no subjects.
Wow. I thought we were going to start going on Candy Mountain or something. It's Candy Mountain, Charlie. Follow the good. It's fun.
Oh my God. I was just going to say that. I still think, did we ever determine 100% was that little Charlie the Unicorn cartoon written by people on drugs?
Either that or it was propaganda on how people get illegal body parts.
Beacon says that he does agree with.
What are you
dialogue
talking about?
The first
you have never seen Candy Mountain?
You've never seen Charlie the Unicorn? Oh my God, I'm so sending you YouTube videos after the cast because it is the weirdest thing.
It's a step up from Star Wars holiday show.
Oh, don't hurt me. Don't bring it.
Just be in for a mind trip, and good luck getting the Banana King song stuck out of your head.
So what they're doing is they're teasing Mr. Zorro there, because what Zorro has decided to do, I don't know why you're doing this over the last week, has been like, go look at every terrible movie / TV show / geek thing that was terrible.
I have watched some truly, truly awful things. There's actually a separate podcast that I listen to. I won't mention it, but they watch terrible movies and then review them and just rip them to shreds.
And that's not Quest for 100, guys. They
get quality on Quest for 100. Quality.
Yeah, no, this is specifically bad movies. And one of their bonus episodes was the Star Wars Holiday Special.
it's
it's special. It's special.
Beacon says, watch Hearts Beat Loud. Watch an amazing movie to cleanse your palate. So.
Oh my God.
Well, so the Star Wars Holiday Special may be the worst thing I've ever seen ever. It wasn't fun bad. It wasn't good bad. It was literally just bad. The first 11 minutes are all in Wookiee with no subtitles.
With no subtitles.
You didn't understand that?
I totally make your own story.
There was there was a fully in the middle of the movie was an animated scene about the characters in real time, but that Chewie's son, Lumpy, by the way, was watching on a Commodore 64 or something. I'm not sure.
Yes, sir.
And that is animated Han and animated Luke crashed the animated Falcon into a jelly planet where they're rescued by Boba Fett on a dinosaur. What?
Dude, you're giving away the plot. You're killing it.
Sorry,
Spoilers,
anybody
man.
Anybody
Spoilers
chooses to
alert.
watch this, that's on them. And that was the world's introduction to Boba Fett. This was made in 1978.
You apparently
It was
have not seen the
funny.
first Captain America movie.
Uh-oh,
And
now he's going to have to go watch it.
Old
Now
school,
that you
yeah,
mentioned
no.
it.
Wait until I'm done with Super Mario Brothers.
And when you look at the cast, like you look at just the cast itself, like on paper, you would expect it to be pretty good. It's the cast of Star Wars. I mean,
Harrison
it's a
Ford
Chris-
was
It's a
Harrison
Christmas
Ford.
special. It's meant to be hokey, especially when it's from that era.
And remember, it was on TV. This was broadcasted on
This was
national
a
TV. I think it was
television
ABC. I
Harrison
actually am one
Ford
of
was
the few people that have seen
visibly
it.
angry. Harrison Ford
Yeah.
was visibly angry to be there. There was no shot of him that was more
Are
than
we
5
sure
seconds.
about that? Because Harrison Ford always
He does
visibly
always
angry when he's not.
more
He's
so
not-
than usual. How about this? Carrie Fisher was visibly pretty much fall down drunk
Okay, once
anytime she was
again,
on screen.
are we?
It's safe to say that Harrison Ford was probably the only one that was not on any type of let's say
Substance.
Okay, let me put it this way.
Substance, yes.
Mark Hamill looked like he was trying out for the Bee Gees.
oh wow.
and I don't think he had his accident yet. So I think,
No,
I
he
think
hadn't. It was pre-car accident.
No, he had.
He
It
was-
was pre-car
yeah, it was
accident.
pretty-
so.
yeah. I think that's probably
He
what
had-
led
he had
to
a very
it. I
nice
don't know.
blonde. His hair was very, very almost
Very
white
coiffed.
blonde. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beach Boys, yes. He was definitely taking some of that Star Wars money and heading to the beach.
But let me ask you this, as an appeasement to Son of Maku in the chat room whenever he's in there, how could Nick Cage have made this better?
I don't even think Nick
He would have
Cage
translated the Wookiee.
No, he
we've
would have
got quite a
been
few-
one of the Wookiees.
Yeah.
Rather than Chewie's father, Itchy is his name, by the way, who had permanent bitter beer face from those old commercials. It would have just been Nick Cage in a Wookiee suit, but with his own face cut out, doing the
Oh, God,
final
that'd be
monologue
funny.
from Wicker Man.
That would be funny. But
Apparently, I haven't seen this. Red Meat Paw brings up, so no one has seen Mark Hamill sing the German parody of Star Wars in a gold jumpsuit and everything.
no, I haven't. But now I want to check it out because that sounds intriguing.
Beacon says the way that Nick Cage would have made it better is there's no way he could have made it worse.
I agree. I
And then
absolutely agree.
he says his alter ego Beacon Baka says to translate, "Don't watch this movie." Beacon Baka says this movie is crap.
Yes. Okay. So, we need another subject, guys.
Yeah, don't let me get started on Super Mario Brothers.
So here, I'll throw something in there in case you guys haven't seen it. I was talking to the mess about this before the show, but there is a YouTube series, if you haven't seen it, it's called Defunct Land. For all you friends out or people out there, I love going to amusement parks or anything. This guy has started a series on YouTube, and it's free to watch. He's season 2 now, but he goes and he looks for all the old amusement park rides and everything that you used to love as a kid and what happened to them and kind of talk about it. Great series. I'm up to like number 8 or something, but the only reason why I got into it originally is because they did one on Action Park, which was what the movie that recently came out was based on, and they actually showed the park and like how many parks there was actually multiple parks that came from the original.
There were multiple
And
deaths that came out of that park.
Yes, there was plenty of deaths too, and it's a really cool series to try to relive some of those old times. Like they did I think the second episode was on Captain EO, and
Nice.
the amount of money they spent on that bad boy and everything. So it's a really interesting series to check it out. I'm sure whatever ride you went on, it's definitely on there.
I will say that this broke earlier today, and it sucks immensely. Steve Ditko passed away, so the artistic creator of Spider-Man, and many other comics passed away, and that's. I don't know what else to say, but rest in peace. And we lost a true legend for comic books today. So I know I completely went on a different curve, what you were talking about.
It's all right. That's the show tonight, guys. It's all from the hip. It's Han shooting first all night long, baby.
Well, since we're going to see if we can do this right, we've talked about going to the website. We've talked about subscribing to Twitch. We've talked about hitting up Amazon. We've talked about Quest for 100. Now, if you go over to Facebook and look up the group Facebook for MaliceCast Live, talking all things nerd, Red Meepaw was talking about Mark Hamill singing in German, the Star Wars parody. She posted it over there for us. So if you guys want to see that video, just head on over to the Facebook group. Not right now.
Not right now. No, stay right now and then go after.
But after the show is over, MaliceCast Live, talking all things nerd, Facebook group. We talk after the show, and you can be part of figuring out topics for later, so we're more prepared next time when we get to this.
If I had been thinking at all, I would have live vlogged Star Wars Holiday Special in that group. I should have done that.
You should still. I think you should.
I did it on mine, but I can copy it over.
This is what happens the week before, a couple weeks before Comic-Con. Everything goes dead until then. Yeah.
Yeah, there is no nerd news really going on right now, folks. So that's why.
Well, there is one big. I don't know if you guys saw this, but speaking of Star Wars, they are looking to cast.
She's cast. It's not
Carrie
Russell. Yeah, Carrie Russell is the first big announcement casting, but don't know what she's being cast as.
Yeah, we have no idea. I mean, literally just that she's going to be in episode 9. I like Carrie Russell, Felicity aside.
She's fantastic in The Americans.
Oh yeah, I mean The Americans, freaking.
Well,
awesome
that's the thing.
show.
Is she has the connection with JJ, of course, because Felicity, and then she was in the Mission Impossible that JJ actually directed, with Tom Cruise. But
wait,
that was
he's in all of them.
I know,
with
but
Tom
she was in
Cruise.
one of them. She was in like
Yeah.
episode 4. Well, I know. She was like in the fourth version of, and that was me actually
Ghost
stuttering.
Protocol?
That wasn't the computer screwing up. That was me stuttering. So.
Oh, well, hopefully they'll treat her better than they did Laura Dern in episode 8. So.
All right, so let's ask you guys this, because this dropped earlier this week as well. Men in Black, reboot's coming. Do you think good, bad, or
Are they? Because the article wouldn't load for me. So are they rebooting the movies, or are they rebooting it into a television show?
no movies?
No, bad.
Bad.
I mean, Men in Black 2 aside, which was not good. Men in Black 1 and Men in Black 3, very entertaining. I don't want to see them redone.
Well, we're reuniting this Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson from Thor Ragnarok in the lead roles. Does that make it better?
I like the two of them. Give them their own movie. I don't need to see Men in Black redone.
I'm assuming Tessa Thompson is replacing Tommy Lee.
Well, we don't know what they're just. Well, and here's the thing: they said it takes place in the same universe as the other one. So, reboot in a sense of it's a new series of Men in Black, but not reboot in the sense of hey, these are going to be replacing these specific characters.
Okay.
That's in the comics. There was always you just like Cops. You got your partner, and that's there was always two people. So it's not a bad reboot because it's not something where they're just going. You can go off and tell stories of other characters and more aliens and things like that. I think it's one of those series that you could reboot actually fairly well. Myself personally thinking. What were you going to say, Masonic?
I was about to say, I think it's going to, I'm not excited about it. And the only reason why I say that is because of the fact that I think what made those movies, Men in Black movies, were great with the chemistry between Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. I don't think you can capture that. And so what's going to end up happening is they'll probably end up just making a cool sci-fi flick. They might even have a cameo from Will or Tommy or whatever, but it's just going to be just a CGI fest in a sense. I mean, I'm sorry, Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones from first movie on, even though the second movie was a little rough, they just had that chemistry, and that's what made that movie awesome. And in fact, it was them, and Rip Torn. Yeah, they had everybody in there.
We've already seen Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson have that chemistry in Thor Ragnarok. The only problem there would be is if you're seeing the exact same thing, then what's the point?
Yeah, and it's not Watiti directing it, so Taika. So it's not just like, hey, let's make Thor Ragnarok in the Men in Black world.
Yeah, maybe if it was a continuation, again, the whole reboot versus continuation.
Well, it takes place within that universe, so it is kind of a continuation, but it's not continuing those specific characters. It's not like
yes, you're not casting them.
Thor and Valkyrie join the Men in Black.
Well, okay, so yeah,
that'd be hilarious.
they do have chemistry, but I think what I'm getting at is that the chemistry that they had between them. So you had Will Smith as a wisecracking action guy, and you had Tommy Lee Jones that was just straight hard nose that kind of tweaks his character over time. It's just,
but
that was a good chemistry. Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones was hilarious, and then you put in characters like in the first one, Linda Fiorentino. You have Rip Torn as a constant. Cameos with Michael Jackson and
the Pug.
I mean.
The Pug.
And the Pug, yeah. There was just so much different stuff going on, but Tommy Lee and Will Smith made it happen. So
it did.
So here's some more details we got, because it's supposed to be starting to film this month, so they've got quite a bit of details on it. But Kamal Nanjiani from Silicon Valley, Camille, and the Big Sick.
I like that guy.
Guy's amazing. He's going to be voicing an
stand-up.
alien. He's voicing some alien in it. You've also got Rafe Spall, who was in Prometheus and the Netflix horror movie The Ritual. So 2 completely different type of castings, but they haven't said what his role is on that. Also, we have the explanations for Hemsworth and Thompson's characters. Hemsworth Agent H is a suave, slightly goofy British MIB officer, so Hemsworth will be doing a British accent. While Thompson will play Molly, a civilian who knows aliens exist and aims to join the organization. So we're getting
Will Smith and Linda.
Well, no, because he didn't know aliens. I mean, he came across the one situation, then he was blinded. We're getting
right.
I want to see the meme of aliens from.
No, I'm saying Hemsworth is the new Will Smith, and Tessa Thompson would be the new Linda Fiorentino, like
pretty much
with slight tweaks.
Or it's like Incredible and Mr. Incredible and Crediboy.
Yeah, won't be a remake. Will take place in the same universe as the earlier films. It is set to be directed by F. Gary Gray, who helmed last year's blockbusters The Fate of the Furious and Straight Outta Compton. So, and it comes out next year.
Alrighty then.
Well, I hope it works out for them. I'd love it if it's good. If it's not, I'm just not going to see it.
Do you think they'll get a Will Smith cameo?
Well, if it takes place in the same world, I could see them doing stuff like that. I could see getting Rip Torn again. Rip Torn didn't pass away, right?
I don't think so.
That was my first thought. I was like, is he still alive?
We got our next 2 words from the chat room. It's Tinderbox Canteens. And for some reason, everything that they're saying has us take us right back to Christmas articles, because they got, do they know it's Christmas? Yes, these survivors certainly do. In Rome.
What? Where?
God.
That's the first headline we get.
Man, I gotta start growing this beard out for December, and we're talking nothing but Christmas stuff. This is crazy.
33 years since boundaries, they know it's Christmas raised awareness about famine in Africa. Now those who fled suffering there suffer in Europe, but they keep the faith. Yeah, that's what comes up.
That's a downer right there, man. That's a downer.
Meanwhile, in the Twitch chat, Beacon and Cinemaku are basically just going back and forth chanting "Hearts Beat Loud."
Nice. We need to go see that.
Ooh, John, hey, I just saw a good one. John Cena and The Rock.
I see John Cena and Batista. What are they talking about in there?
Oh, we're talking about new other potential pairings in the Men in Black world.
Oh, okay. So yeah, John Cena and The Rock is what somebody's saying.
Dude, that would be just The Rock on there. If you want to make Men in Black redo it, dude, put The Rock in there for God's sake. You can't go wrong with that guy.
Who would be a good playoff of The Rock?
I don't know if you saw the thing that
if you wanted to go totally opposite, keep the same idea in mind. I know they did a movie together before, but if you put The Rock and Kevin Hart together,
hell yeah, they were great in Jumanji.
CIA.
They've done like 4 movies together.
The CIA movie together too, yeah.
They did the CIA one together too, because they have a weirdly good chemistry together. But it's
one of them's so big and the other one's so little.
I know.
Yeah, one's really big, and the other one looks like it was a bowel movement from the big guy.
And Tommy Lee were roughly about the same height. So
Did you
No,
like that? That was a good description, huh?
Oh, that was a terrible description.
It was awful.
Like,
It
that
was
was-
truly awful. We didn't need to go that direction. The thing that I saw earlier today
Kevin Hart
that I
is
loved.
legit, though. He's a great guy. I love him.
Some random person, I don't know if this was Tumblr or what, but they put up, I want Terry Crews and Vin Diesel to do a buddy cop movie where they're both secret nerds, but they don't want the other one to know. Like Vin Diesel plays D&D on the weekends, and Terry Crews likes to create epic crossover fan art. Somehow they have to work undercover at Comic-Con, and for whatever reason, I need Daniel Radcliffe as the villain. And somebody else said, wait, no. I want Elijah Wood to play Daniel Radcliffe, and his evil sidekick is Elijah Wood, played by Daniel Radcliffe.
I like
be a good pairing.
Actually Beacon's pairing The Rock and Sterling K. Brown. I think would be, because it's like needs a more serious role like Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
I think just put The Rock in everything is what they're getting to in the chat room.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you argue with that right now? That guy has pumped out so many
Genuinely
freaking movies.
decent dude.
Man. It's crazy.
Yeah, even when he has a movie about him not being missing one leg and doing Die Hard with one leg coming out, that would seem like a ridiculous idea, but it's probably going to be a big blockbuster because it's The Rock.
It's The Rock. I mean, heck, he made Baywatch watchable.
I don't know about that.
Strong disagree.
That movie bombed pretty badly. A lot of people.
I know it bombed, but when I watched it, at least The Rock was funny in it. For God's sake, it was free on Amazon Prime.
That's one.
I mean, they actually, from what I can remember in the headlines, that I thought when you're talking about The Rock, they just cast Idris Elba to play like a villain in a Fast and Furious offshoot. With
with The Rock.
which
Yeah,
I
I
think
just
will
saw
be
that too.
phenomenal. Idris Elba and The Rock on screen together. That's going to be really good. So
Make it better. Put Denzel Washington as the boss. There you go.
I don't know.
Over the top at that
Stringer
point.
Bell's pretty strong.
yeah, we got the dead air. So let's move on. So other thing that we had that we were gonna actually kind of discuss today, so we can go through it unless you guys come up with another subject that we can talk about in the chat room. The movies that are coming between now and 2020 that all have to do with like superheroes, comic book type of things and stuff. So we had our first one coming out today, which was Ant-Man and Wasp. I have not seen it yet. I was gonna go see it tonight, but didn't get a chance to. You guys excited for that one? Anybody?
Yes.
Which one was that?
Ant-Man and
Ant-Man
Wasp.
and Wasp. Yeah, I am. I
Oh.
like the first one. The first one was really entertaining, and I'm looking forward to seeing the second one.
I'm really looking forward to it. I love Paul Rudd. I don't know what it is about that guy, but I love his movies. I just don't know if he picks really good roles or what. But I'm super excited.
I
it's
love
gonna be good.
Evangeline Lilly, who does not pick great roles, but hopefully in this one it's good.
Yes, Evangeline Lilly.
Well, it was
Yeah.
like for the longest time she was just super picky on roles.
Kate from Lost. Yeah, except for what was the Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie she did with friggin' Hugh Jackman?
I didn't
Yeah.
mind that one. I liked that movie.
Eh,
I just didn't like them creating a whole new character for the Hobbit from her. For her to
yeah.
play. That was my. But like, if you go back and look at old interviews with her from when she's on Lost and stuff, she's like, her whole thing wasn't like to continue acting. She was talking about like, I really like acting. I really want to do acting, but someday I just want to be a mom. I don't want to act. I just want to have kids and stay at home and just be a mom. And
I will volunteer.
Part of the reason, yeah, it might be part of the reason that she doesn't take a lot of
Volunteers
acting
tribute.
roles. Yeah. So, you want her to be your mom?
Let's not get into that. It's a whole different conversation.
So, we had some stuff about Ant-Man in there. I didn't know if you guys saw it. Ant-Man and the Wasp was fantastic, says Senamaku. Beacon's seeing it tomorrow night. So that means that the next episode of Quest for 100, I guarantee, will probably be them talking about Ant-Man and Wasp.
Potentially.
If they record one tonight going out. So, and if you want to see the other Quest for 100 audio casts, you check them out on Stitcher and iTunes. They're right here, Quest for Movies. You can see them written. That's their Twitter handle, so you can go check them out. But that's Beacon and the Big Papa Matt trying to watch 100 films in a calendar year in the movie theaters, not at home or anything like that. To the effect that we were talking about how Movie Pass has now reached out to get another $1.2 billion because their hemorrhaging money from people that are actually using it on a regular basis. And
Who would do that?
What? No.
so we're like, well, that's probably Beacon and the Big Papa Matt that are causing that to happen.
Either that or everybody that's on AARP.
Yeah, not trying but doing is what so yeah, so enjoy Movie Pass while it lasts, everybody, because I don't know if you can ask for 1.2 billion from investors all the time.
Just long enough for 100 movies, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, hopefully. We hope for their sake that they get to their 100 movies. For our sake, it'll be great when they don't get to it, because then we get to make them watch terrible, horrible movies like
I have some suggestions.
So Beacon's up to 55 movies so far. If you guys aren't here, what I'm doing is I'm looking at the chat room. We are live here on Twitch, twitch.tv/MaliceCorp. And you can always check us out Fridays, 9 p.m. We will never miss a show. Our producer, Jack Malice, won't let us. So we're here.
I'm just saying, if you guys can't hit 100 in the theaters, I'm going to make you go back and watch Crystal Skull.
Yeah, Beacon says, I'm getting my 100 movies. I bought the year pass, so he will get it. Yeah, so, and Hearts Beat Loud. Go see Hearts Beat Loud. But let's move on. Next movie that's coming out of the superhero films, we have Venom coming out on October 5th. Are you guys excited for it? Or
Not after I saw the preview, no.
okay.
I want to be excited about it because Venom, like a couple other characters that have come out, deserves redemption, because that role he had in Spider-Man 3 was absolute garbage.
That 70s Spider-Man 3 Venom? Because we had the main guy from that 70s show.
If that was the first introduction I had to Venom, I would never like that character ever.
The problem with that version of Venom as well was Sam Raimi didn't want to do Venom. He did not want to do Venom whatsoever in his series of movies, and the studio forced him to.
I know.
They wanted him to do Venom from.
Tell.
Yeah, and it was terrible. It was horrible, and it ended up giving us emo Peter Parker.
Emo Peter Parker, and I don't even remember who was the actor that played him because it was garbage. Hey, shit.
Tobey Maguire.
Now I know there was a dog on your bed. I kept the entire cast. I keep looking at your bed, moving, and I'm trying to figure out: are you laying down on the bed with a fuzzy blanket? Is there an animal on there? What is going on with that room?
I'm wondering what woke me up for the cast. It wasn't the phone call. It wasn't the text. It was the dog.
Yeah. Chat room also not excited for Venom. Beacon says go watch Upgrade instead, which I agree.
Did I see that I don't know if these were fake trailers or anything, but I see something that they were going to try to introduce Spider-Man or Peter Parker, like the guy they're using right now for Spider-Man, into the movie? Or is that just totally...
That was a rumor before, and then they said that he's not going to appear in the movie.
Well, then I'm not wanting to see it. There you go. Done.
At first they said that it was going to take place in a separate universe, but now they said that, well, it might be in the same universe, but that it's not, they're not tied together at all. I mean, the other news that came out, and this may be a little spoilery, but the news that came out for Spider-Man is the next Spider-Man takes place literally minutes after Infinity War, and Doctor Strange will not be in it.
So wait. So is this how it's going to go?
Peter, then.
The credits are going to go, and then all of a sudden you'll see dust, and then the credits
right?
go.
It's an hour and a half long shot of dust.
Either that or some kid grabs the dust and turns it into Play-Doh or something.
The first line in the film is going to be, "I'm feeling better."
I feel better.
That would actually be really funny, and I hope that's an outtake. Would that be an outtake?
Oh my god!
Oh, so
he's only mostly dead.
Yeah, and then happy anniversary, Beacon. He's out to go celebrate, and happy anniversary to our producer Jack Malice as well, who we were trying to let go out to celebrate, but he did it beforehand to make sure that we could come on here to talk with all you wonderful people. And thank you for being here. So next movie that we had on the list of films to come out, we have Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. I am super, super excited for this animated film.
Oh yeah, that looks cool.
It looks fantastic. Miles Morales' version of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I am stoked on this. And
Not
then I
voiced by
love the
Donald Glover.
factor that it's written by Phil Lord, and you got Haley Steinfeld, Leif Schreiber doing voices, Jake Johnson. It's like a great cast that's involved in this. And I think the animation looks phenomenal because it's like comic book is the way that they make the animation look. So it's like a moving comic book going on. Anybody else
That looks cool, and that sounds like a great cast.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of Miles Morales. I know a little bit about him, but my kid sees Spider-Man. He's like, I want to go see it, so I'm gonna see it.
And he's not voiced by Donald Glover?
I don't believe so.
No, that's a bummer. Donald for Spider-Man was a huge favorite thing like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, I don't think they went that route with it. I'd have to look into it. If you guys know, make sure to check out IMDb. Let us know who's voicing Miles Morales in Spider-Man into the Spiderverse. That comes out later this year. The next one we've got coming out is Aquaman. Excited? Nays?
Yes.
You think this is the...
Let Sarah talk. She's very.
Go ahead,
you can see that in her look in the face. Go for it.
You know what? Jason Momoa needs this movie. I think Jason Momoa needs this movie to succeed more than DC needs this movie to succeed. But DC really needs this movie to succeed. Like, really. But out of all of the ones outside of Wonder Woman 2, this one has the strongest chance to succeed because he was one of the better things about Justice League. I think he's finally going to get to show off his acting chops because he's a good actor. Like, he's just never gotten a role where he's gotten to put all his acting, into the role. And I'm really excited to see what they do with this. And I really, really hope they don't screw it up.
His characterizations was one of the better things, but once again, they need to give him a little bit more dialogue than my man. And
yes,
they
do. They do. And that's what I'm really hoping for because this is going to be all him. He's not going to be just the side piece.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I was very excited when I saw that they casted him because I've known him from Stargate and whatnot. And I liked his characters there, and to see him bust out Aquaman from the old green and yellow outfit and just all like because everyone busted on Aquaman. If the fight wasn't around the water, Aquaman was completely useless. And at least in the movie, they made him more relevant altogether. His powers weren't just solely contained to the water. But more importantly, I just liked the character. It was awesome. It was a more true, realistic version of what Aquaman would be. And I am very excited to see it. I think we mentioned this a couple casts ago. Some of the pictures and the scenes from some of the sets and everything look great. I'm excited for it.
And welcome Polyfuse to the chat.
Yeah, what's up, Polyfuse? I'm going to bring up the one line that I had. I think it was a couple of casts ago. I don't necessarily believe. Oh no, I can't read that.
I can't read what's just going on in the chat room, but that's why you should be here live.
But the line that I had, I think it was 2 weeks ago, was I sort of disagree with you. I don't think Jason Momoa needs this more than DC does. I think DC needs this to be as big a hit as Entourage told us it should be.
100%.
Yes.
But real quick,
as good a hit as Wonder Woman was.
But real quick, going back to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse real quick,
Mm-hmm.
You know who the main bad guy is going to be?
Who?
Nicolas Cage.
Nice. Perfect.
As Spider-Man Noir.
That's fantastic. That's okay. That's the end all be all right there.
Yep. We know who's going to go see that.
Yep. Big Papa Matt will be in the theater for the first 3 showings on the Friday it comes out.
He's going to be dressing up as Spider-Man.
Even if Aquaman hadn't come out, even if we hadn't seen any of Aquaman, Justice League hadn't happened or anything, just based off of this hook on the explanation of the film as a Lord of the Rings / Game of Thrones mashup underwater, I'd go check it out just for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's the hook they're giving it.
Yeah, the Black Manta character, his helmet doesn't look all crazy big. It looks real. It's gonna be a good movie. And yeah, DC needs this a hell of a lot more than Jason Momoa does. Jason Momoa's got his money. DC needs this movie to pop to save Justice League.
That is the 100%. It needs to. This is the film that's saving the extended universe for the most part before the.
It needs a $250 million opening weekend. Is what it needs.
If they don't say if this doesn't do well, I honestly believe AT&T, even though they're way up the chain from where the portion is that's making the DC films is, I think that they'll be like, nope, we need to rework everything. You know, you'll have Wonder Woman finish because they're already in the works on that, but everything after that, it's going to be like we're starting over from scratch, except for that one specific thing. If this movie doesn't do well, with all the rumors going on with Kathleen Kennedy, I think the same thing would happen over at Warner Media.
Yeah.
But yeah, we
she's not a Warner. She's a
Disney.
Or Disney.
She's at Disney, but I mean, for her to have one flop in Solo and the people to go insane about get rid of her and everything, DC will have had, if Aquaman's not good, it will have a flop in Aquaman, a flop in Justice League, a flop in Suicide Squad. And not to say these movies are horrible.
They're not horrible,
but they are flops. They are box office flops.
Yeah.
And Wonder Woman being their only one.
I thought Suicide Squad did okay. I thought that one made money.
Still flopped. By their standards, still a flop. Still lost some money for them.
Yeah, you still have to above what the actual budget for the production was. You still have to take into account advertising, all that stuff. So when people talk about Solo flopping, even though it made more than its production budget, they spent $250 or so making the movie, and then another $150 advertising.
Yeah, so $60 million hit.
Yeah.
All at Denny's.
Yeah. So yeah. So if Aquaman is not a flop, and then you've got Wonder Woman coming around behind the corner on that, and people liked the first Wonder Woman and are anticipating the next one, despite Kristen Wiig playing Cheetah.
You had to remind me of that, dude. You had to remind me, huh?
I'm being reminded of it every time I look at Geek headlines, because it's like, here's the first photo of her, and it's just her standing in some room way in the background, dressed up like a librarian. I'm like, who cares about this? Show me her as Cheetah if you're going to actually show me a picture.
Seriously.
No, please don't show me her as Cheetah. Please ditch that idea.
It's not happening. They're already filming, so.
Damn it.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting Steve Trevor back somehow. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting
magic.
Yeah. So
if you're not in our live chat right now, you need to be. It's ridiculous.
Well, you should have been here earlier, because we've actually done an hour of random not knowing what the heck to talk about.
Yeah.
So this will be our most random episode ever, guys. Next week, we are going to have our friends over at Turbo Comics in Idaho, the premier comic book shop. Check them out on Twitter at Turbo Comics ID, or look up Turbo Comics on Facebook. There's another plug for you. Shameless plug. But Max from Turbo Comics will be here with us, with me, Big Papa Matt, and Super Hoovian Freak, because the three of us are going to Comic-Con the week after that in San Diego, and Max is our comic book extraordinaire, and our other comic book extraordinaire from Comics for All will be Igor on the cast with us as well. So we'll be prepared, because we're going to be going and diving in to the San Diego Comic-Con schedule for the entire weekend to look for those diamonds in the rough, to tell you guys, here's the panels that you really need to seek out. These are the ones that you need to see, and the panel selection isn't as great as it has been in years past, so it's going to be really, really, really packed on the showroom floor. So that's why we want to help you find those things that'll get you away from the showroom floor, so you're not just standing in a crowd, stuck like this, not being able to move.
See, that's why you got to travel with someone like me, because I'm like the wedge buster. So if you need a wedge buster and you have an extra ticket there, let me know. I'll walk in front of you and get you through everything pretty nice. Shameless plug.
Speaking of wrestling, physic, if you please. Everybody move.
And once again, can't say what's going on in the chat room, but it's an interesting chat room going on. Let's talk about where we can follow everybody. Mr. Masonic Vader, where can we follow you outside of this podcast?
Oh, you can follow me at Masonic Vader 71 on the PlayStation Network, and you can follow me Masonic Vader on Twitter and Instagram. But like I shamelessly plugged already once, and you helped me out before, The newest podcast, Malice Smack Talk, could use your support as well. So definitely follow us there on Twitter and Instagram, and check out some of our videos on YouTube. And if you do get to check them out, please like them and share them and give us some comments and some 5 stars, because we're new. We need it. Thank you. Ting.
This chat room's so great. Super. Where can we follow you outside of the podcast?
Yeah. Follow me on Twitter at SuperHoovieandNet. And it's like you said, we're ramping up to Comic-Con, so I'm going to be starting to, tweet out all the panels that we're going to be going to. We're going to be, we're right now I've been talking all day today about the 10-year reunion of Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. So I'm really hoping that they're going to drop that. They're going to do the second Dr. Horrible sing-along blog.
They said that 3 years ago that they were doing it, and
I know
nothing happened.
But
So
gosh dang it, make it happen already. You're out of the Avengers, Joss. You can do this. You can do this. Now is the time to strike. But anyways, so that's what's going on my Twitter right now. Is ramping up for Comic-Con.
What about you, Icy Zoro? Where can we follow you?
At Icy Zoro on Twitter and Instagram. Should be having some crazy party stuff going on at work tomorrow. Gorgeous scenery, live music. Everybody will be melting in the 119-degree heat. So I should have some good pictures up on Instagram tomorrow.
Melting people. Yes, that's that's what we want to see.
World exclusive.
Yeah.
Or just fade away in dust like Avengers.
Or just a litter of girls in sundresses passed out with wine glasses spilled next to them, on a lawn.
Nice. As always, you can follow this cast on Twitter at MaliceCast. You see it written right there. Malice Corp is the main Twitter for everybody. Nerd Mosh Pit is our adult podcast that has our friends Kenny, Nick, and Big Papa Matt on it. Quest for Movies is your movie podcast. We have All for Comics, which is on Twitter at All for Comics. Which is Comics for All, that you can look up on Stitcher and iTunes. You can look up this cast in the audio versions as Malice Corp Podcast, not Malice Cast Live. And you can follow me on Twitter at Mess_Malice Corp or on Instagram at Mess5150. Thank you guys for coming out. Make sure to follow our producer as well at Jack_Malice. Wish him a happy anniversary. And we will be back next Friday to talk San Diego Comic-Con and get ready for the nerd explosion that's coming with San Diego Comic-Con the week after that. Thank you guys for joining. Keep nerding on. We'll see you later.
Carry on.